Hey, today I'm going to discuss how the developers did it again by breaking their previous record. Not only that, I'll go over a new meta that'll most likely get patched. We'll also discuss strange reviews surrounding Arc Raiders, plus so much more. If you can do me a favor, make sure to tap the thumbs up button right away and the hype button below. With that said, let's jump in. Alrighty Raiders, things have been crazy lately with Arc Raiders. The number of copies sold has been insane, the community seems to be growing bigger and bigger every day, and I'm sure there's several players out there that haven't bought Arc Raiders, and they're just unsure what took this game by storm. But nevertheless, just recently the developers did it again by breaking their previous record. Arc Raiders just hit a peak of 480,966 concurrent players on Steam, and that's not even counting those on Xbox and PlayStation. This right here is absolutely nuts and awesome to see at the same time. Now, the devs just posted this yesterday, basically showing off the reviews for the game, which, by the way, I think we should talk about the reviews briefly, because there's a review going around that caught several Raiders' attention. If you haven't seen it yet, it's quite appalling. Eurogamer gave Arc Raiders 2 stars due to the use of AI, particularly when the characters are speaking, right? It's all AI, right? It seems a bit odd to me. Apparently, it's a huge issue. Yet a game like Call of Duty Black Ops 7 received a better review on their site than Arc Raiders. However, in their review for Black Ops 7, nothing was mentioned about the Activision devs using AI to create their calling cards. If you have any thoughts on Embark Studios breaking their record or Eurogamer giving it a 2-star review, post a response below and tell me what you think. Nevertheless, I want to point out one more thing that I'm sure most of you have seen already, and that's the fact there's a new Raider skin that could very well arrive this Thursday. For those who don't know, I'm talking about this particular skin right here. It sort of has an Arc vibe to it, almost like the helmet was constructed out of purely Arc parts, and I absolutely can't wait to get my hands on it. And you might be wondering why I think it's going to drop this week. Well, given the fact that in this video they revealed the matriarch, an enemy that was just revealed recently in game. So if that's not a hint, then I don't know what is, and hopefully I'm right about it. I do wonder if any of you are fans of this particular skin. Okay, the next thing I'd like to bring to your attention is a new trick that's been shared around recently. There's a way to double pump, essentially allowing you to fire it quickly, and the developers are fully aware of it, which we'll get to that in a second. If you haven't seen this yet, allow me to show you what's going on. When you fire a shotgun, there's a slight delay before you can fire it again, right? But there's a trick, or rather a meta going around, where you can skip that delay by simply pulling out a bandage, or really any throwable, and then quickly switching back to your shotgun. This will skip the delay, allowing you to fire it quickly again. For example, it looks like this right here. As you can see, I'll fire it, then swap to my bandages, then back to the shotgun, and to be truthful, I'm quite terrible at it, but you can tell you can fire it pretty fast. However, there are raiders out there that are way better than me and can execute this pretty well in a match. Overall, I have a strong feeling that the developers will patch it rather quickly. In fact, like I just mentioned, the community manager at Embark Studios confirmed this. If they end up doing so, I'll be sure to let you know right away once the next update drops. So feel free to subscribe now and turn on notifications so you can stay up to date with the latest Arc Raiders news. Anyway, continuing on, we've got to talk about the spawns in Arc Raiders. I'm sure plenty of you Raiders out there can agree that the spawns are kind of terrible. If not, they're absolutely terrible. Especially on Stella Montis. The developers are fully aware of what's going on with it, which I'll show proof in a minute. Anyway, there have been several reports from players talking about how the spawns need a fix. Even myself. For instance, I came across a spawn camper recently, which you can see here. He was hiding directly behind the wall and waited for me to spawn and then come out. This sort of caught me off guard and I ended up losing the battle. I also encountered another raider that was able to defeat me quickly because I couldn't move during the loading screen and I was defeated fast. However, the shredder ended up taking him out, which was so funny, and unfortunately I wasn't recording, but I was able to record afterwards, and it was, again, hilarious and well deserved. Now, not only am I experiencing this, but there's a raider who experienced a spawn camper as well that waited patiently for them to spawn in and completely wiped them out. I mean, the entire team, as you can see in this video here. Now, there are cases like this happening not just on Stella Montes, but also on different maps in the Rust Belt, such as Blue Gate. For example, this raider spawns in, checks out the map, and heads out the entrance like you typically would if you spawned at this exact location. And what do you know? Someone waited for them and then took them out. The good thing is the developers are looking into it, considering an Embark Studios community manager replied to a raider that brought up the same issues. And the CM explained that there are several reports of the same situation, but on other maps. All in all, this is going to be a huge issue moving forward if they're not able to fix it sooner rather than later. I want to reiterate that this can happen on any map at any time. The only fix for this is if they completely remove late game spawning. It's the only way to solve it. In fact, I think it's a great idea, even if spawn campers weren't a thing, right? The reason is, I don't find it fun or enjoyable spawning late game because usually all the points of interest have been scavenged through, and there's just no point in me going to those locations if I've already missed out, right? What I'd like to hear are your feelings about this. Should they remove late game spawning to prevent spawn campers and keep the loot fresh, or should they keep it how it is? Comment below and let me know what you have to say. Also, since we're talking about spawns, they're looking into a different issue where players are instantly wiped when spawning in. We can see an Embark Studios team member just confirmed it recently that they're investigating it, and if you were to ask me, I think it has to do with the spawn campers, but I might be wrong. Next up, there's a raider who reported several issues, such as players using the door glitch to phase through locked doors, and campers that wait there for others, and how the trial challenges require tons of hours farming across several raids, the weapon cancellation trick with a shotgun, and some other things listed here. Now, in response to this post, an Embark Studios community manager confirmed that they're all known issues and they've received reports about them recently. He also wrote that the team is working on fixing them, so the shotgun trick as well as everything there will definitely get patched, along with, again, all the stuff listed here. So definitely keep an eye out for the next patch, and I'll be sure to be covering that as soon as possible. So on a different note, I want to bring this up because I'm sure some of you are fully aware of how the Venator is just outperforming so many different weapons right now, especially the pink tier. And the developers, Embark Studios, you know, the whole entire team members are fully aware of what's going on. As you can tell right here, one of the team members confirmed that, yep, they're fully aware of it. So that'll probably end up, you know, receiving a balance change, or in other words, a nerf. And I would imagine no one would be upset about it, right? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Anywho, we have another response here, but this time it's from a community manager at Embark Studios. And he wrote, "We are looking into the exploits to fix them. About the cheater, you can just report it in-game, and the team will take a look as soon as they can." And there you go. So they're looking into the exploits as of right now, and hopefully they'll be able to patch some of those major ones, right, with players camping behind, you know, locked doors and whatnot. So again, keep your eyes peeled for the next video and the next patch, because hopefully things will get better from here on out. Moving along, hackers and cheaters have been taking over Arc Raiders as of late. I saw a few posts on the Arc Raiders subreddit where several raiders have shared video clips of players, or rather cheaters, shooting through walls or using aimbots to take them down easily. For example, there's a video clip here where a player showed how they were taken down easily because a cheater was able to hit them through the walls. Now, I thought this was because of a glitch. However, as far as I know, that doesn't appear to be the case, considering Embark Studios recently patched a method where any player could walk through the wall at Spaceport. Now, whatever is going on here is either a hacker or someone who figured out a way to wall clip or clip through a different section on Spaceport. There's also another video clip here where this player couldn't dish out any damage on the other player and was taken out with a pickaxe. It's kind of nuts, but stuff like this is going on currently, and if you have encountered a cheater on console, then I highly suggest turning off crossplay. It'll make your gameplay experience smoother and better because, well, some PC players are able to use cheats and all sorts of stuff, right? But obviously this isn't going to prevent, like, I don't know, cheaters or glitchers that are able to glitch through certain walls and take you out that way, right? All right, we're gonna talk about something completely different this time, and it's about the recent security breach nerf. You know, the specific skill on the right side, right? There's been a lot of comments about it, a lot of discussions going around how players are upset and they just didn't want it to, you know, to be essentially nerfed, right? And the developers have responded, specifically one developer, and his name is Oscar. Here's what he wrote to this player. Hey man, so we're going through writing patch notes for Arc Raiders for the very first times right now, and we will miss things as we go through that process. We missed the security breach part in the patch notes. We didn't keep that information out on purpose. We might miss things next time too, but all we can do is learn from what we miss and do better. Now I'm gonna go topside. So yeah, that's what the developer Oscar had to say about the whole entire situation, because as you know, and as I've just said, there's been a lot of players out there that are just upset about the whole situation regarding the recent nerf. And sure, it sucks, but things will get better over time, because usually it does with certain games, right? And I have a feeling that Arc Raiders is one of those games. Things will get better. You're going to see a lot of changes, I have a feeling, you know, towards the skills and everything in the future. So, you know, yes, it sucks, but things will get better, like I just mentioned. If you have any comments on this, let me know in the comments below. Tell me what you think. Next up, let's talk about one more topic here, and I'd love to hear your feedback on this. So there's been a lot of comments and a lot of players out there talking about, hey, you know, I went to this certain spot, I fell through the map, and there are several examples of that on the Discord, right? There's one right here. So that is an issue, and the developers, thankfully, are keeping track of everything. Well, in this particular situation, the community manager is, right? Nevertheless, the developers are fully aware of it, and hopefully those issues will be resolved in the very next patch. So lastly, for today's video, we have the top comments. First from Aaron that said, these new shredders are shredding, and yes, they absolutely are. They'll tear you down so quickly, it's insane, and kind of fun too at the same time. The second top comment is by Beats and Guitars that said, man, it's such a good game, I'm kind of blown away. Same here, it's actually a pretty fun game. I'm not too big into extraction shooters and whatnot, but man, this one is absolutely fun. The third and final top comment is by Zerthios, if I'm pronouncing that right. I apologize, by the way. You can correct me in the comments. You said you found an epic key yesterday for a new map, and you were so excited to use it, but then immediately died. Hopefully you'll have better luck next time, because man, that absolutely sucks. I try to use like stuff like a barricade or a trap to prevent players from doing that, you know, taking me out and whatnot. But yeah, anyways, hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, consider tapping the thumbs up button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and all that good stuff. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.